Good morning, class. This is Mr. Eggleston, and this is quiz 5.5 through 5.8 review. I stated that I was going to do selected problems from this worksheet. I went over all of them in class, but I know it was fast. So here are a few selected problems. I think I have a total of 6 or so. I think 2 each set. So if there's 6 sets, that should be about 12. So let's do C and D. So if f of a equals 34, find f of a plus 2. What you want to know is that if you add all these up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We see that as we go from figure 1 to figure 2, we are adding 4 each time. And figure 2 to figure 3, 4. So if we know f of a equals 34, f of a plus 2 means we go 2 further down, 2 figures further on. So a plus 2 would equal to 34, which is f of a, and then we're going to have to add 4 twice. So that comes out to be 34, 38, 42. Okay, and that's f of a plus 2. And we got that from knowing what f of a was. If f of a equals 22, find a. Well, we know that f of 3 was 14. F of 4, figure 4 would be 4 more, would be 18. F of 5 would be 22. I said 25 there, but I meant 22. So A equals 5. That's how quickly you can figure it out. All right, I'm doing A and B of problem set 2. Notice they say J is a linear function. J is a line. Y equals mx plus b. They tell you f of 10 minus f of 7 is equal to negative 9. All right? Notice the difference between 10 and 7 is 3. That is 10 minus 7 equals 3. So there's a 3 difference between 10 and 7. 4 and 1, there's also a 3 difference. Do you notice that? J of 4 minus J of 1 is there's 3 units apart. So that tells you, since it's linear, again, key statement, linear, that this difference is negative 9. So this equals negative 9 divided by 3, which is negative 3. Okay? Values of a linear function h are given in the table. And they give you all these values. And then they say, find h evaluated at 11. So the quickest way is to find the rate of change, the slope of this. So we're going to do these two, because they did say it's a linear function. You don't even have to guess. It's linear. So as h, if you add 2 to x, so the slope, or the rate of change, is the change in h over the change in x, is going to be, you add 2 to x, or adding 3 to h. So it's 3 halves. Okay, so you can figure out that for every 1 unit, which, oh, by the way, 3 halves is 1.5. So for every 1 unit of change in x, we're going to change h by 1.5. So the best way to do this is to start with h of 12, the last one we know, plus 1.5, which is the rate of change. Now, how many times difference is 11 and 6? 11 minus 6 is 5, so we can multiply it by 5. So it's 12 plus 1.5 times 5. All right? And that comes out to be 12 plus 1.5 times 5. 14.5. So h of 11 is 14.5. Okay? Problem set 3. It's a piecewise defined function that says find f of negative 3 and f of 30. Well, remember, piecewise says that you look at the inequalities over here to decide for a given value of x which piece to use. So f evaluated at negative 3, you have to ask yourself, is negative 3 less than or equal to negative 2, or is negative 3 greater than negative 2? It's less than, so that means we have to use the top piece, which is x squared minus 4x plus 3. So we're going to plug negative 3 into that. So we're going to switch out each of these x's to become negative 3. So negative 3 squared is 9. Negative 4 times negative 3 is a positive 12 plus 3. 9 plus 12 is 21, plus 3 is 24. Okay, I'm going to do this quickly, B, because I just want to point out, notice, this one's a little bit tricky because they're asking to evaluate f of x at exactly negative 2, which is where the two pieces hand off. So f of negative 2, you have to decide, is negative 2 less than or equal to negative 2? Or is negative 2 greater than negative 2? I hope you realize it's less than or equal to, so you have to use the top piece again. So it's x squared, so it's negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 2 plus 3. Negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8 plus 3. I'm not using a calculator, but you're more than welcome to use one. So f of negative 2 is 15. F of 30, you have to decide, is 30, again, you notice I'm always going to look at which piece to use. So f of 30 is 30 greater than negative 2, which I hope you'll say yes, or do you falsely believe 30 is less than negative 2? Obviously, it's greater than, so we have to use the bottom piece. So this is going to be, we got to use 3x plus 7, so we just replace x with 30. 3 times 30 plus 7, that's going to be 90 plus 7, which equals 97. All right, now is set 3. I know I'm flying through this. It's because I want to get this done and go home. Now they give you a table of data, and they want to find the average rate of change in the temperature, and they give you two values between t equals 12 and t equals 14. The average rate of change, average ROC, rate of change, is going to be H evaluated at 14 minus H evaluated at 12 all over 14 minus 12. Okay, we get H of 14 from the table. Sorry, it's 97. So we get 97 minus 92 all over 14 minus 2 is 2. So 97 minus 92 is 5, and it's 5 halves, which is 2.5. Okay, and that would be, by the way, we have to put units. They gave us units. That's going to be degrees Fahrenheit per hour. Degrees F, sorry, that looks like of. Degrees F per hour. Okay. Find the average rate of change of temperature between T equals 8 and 14. Same idea. We'll look at 8 and we'll look at 14. So the average ROC would be H evaluated at 14 minus H evaluated at 8 all over 14 minus 8. So looking at the values, H of 14, looking at the table, is 97 minus 85 over 14 minus 8. So 97 minus 85, I believe, is 12, dosi. And 14 minus 8, I believe, is 6. So it's 12 over 6, and we end up with 2, and that's 2 degrees F per hour. All right, and that's how you do set 4. Okay, set 5. Now they give you the function, a piecewise defined function as a graph. And they ask you on B is to find the average rate of change between -3 and 4. And you can see negative f, x equals -3 is right here. X equals 4 is right there. And they're basically asking you to find the slope of the line right there. So the average AOC, that's a politician, ROC, rate of change, is going to be the slope. So you can count to get the slope because they gave you the graph. So we start here. We go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go up 4, over, rise over run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We go up 4 over 7. That's 4 over 7, 4 sevenths. And do they give you units? No, they do not. So it's just 4 sevenths. All right. This C is kind of a crazy looking question. For part of the domain from -5 to a, the slope of f is 1. -5, which is right here, to a, the slope is -1. Well, you can see the slope is -1 all the way until -1. Okay? And then between a and 2, the slope is 0. So it looks like a is -1. Find the value of a. A equals -1. That satisfies everything, because this slope is 0. And that's between -1 and 2. Just real quick, since I'm right here, how many pieces to this graph are there? You just count up all the different number of pieces, right? You got 1 piece here, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 pieces. That's how quickly you can do this. Finally, the last, I got 3 here. Which of the for which value of t is v of t equal to 0? So they give you this information. They say an inflatable pool can hold sorry about that, can hold 1,328 gallons of water and is being drained, which means it's losing 8 gallons of water per minute. So you can easily come up with a simple equation. V of t, the volume as a function of time, is going to be the initial value of 1,328 minus 8t. Because it's it's drained. That's why I know it's negative, because of the word drained. It's losing volume. So since we know what that is, we have the function. And now we can just work with this function. They want to know, when does this equal 0? Well, to solve this, we're going to have to solve that equation. How do we do it? Subtract 1328. We have to denude the t. We get this. I'm showing every step. And then divide by -8. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 1328 divided by 8 is 166. 166 what? Well, it says it's draining, and it's being drained at a constant rate of gallons a minute. It's per minute. So our time unit is minutes, so it's 166 minutes. All right? Then they ask you, what is V of 15 minus V of 10? Okay? So we can plug in V of 15. We can plug 15 into this and get 1328 minus 8 times 15 and throw that into our calculator. Minus 8 times 15 gives us 1208, 1,208 gallons. And V of 10 is going to be 1328 minus 8 times 10. And that's going to be 1328 minus 8 times 10 is going to be 1248. And they said, what is V of 15 minus V of 10? Well, V of 15 minus V of 10 is just going to be equal to 1208 minus 1248. And it comes out to be a negative 40 gallons. Okay, what does that represent? That represents that between the minutes, over that 5-minute interval from 10 to 15, the pool lost 40 gallons. Okay, then it says find V of 102. Well, we're skipping that. You just plug 102 into the equation. How long will it take to drain 1/4 of the pool? So remember, initial volume was 1,328 gallons. They want to know how long will it take to drain 1/4 of the pool. So that means, one way of looking at this means that there's 3/4. If 1/4 left, that means 3/4 is left. So how long before we get to 3/4 of the original volume? Well, you multiply 1328 by 3/4. And 1328 times 0.75 or 3/4 is 996. So we want to know how long it'll take the volume to get to 996. Well, we just have to switch out V of t to be 1328 minus 8t equal to 996. Now we solve that. Subtract 1328. You get negative 8t equals negative 332. Divide by negative 8. How do I do that? Boom, boom. Negative 8 gives us 41.5. So t equals 41.5 minutes. And there you go. I did a handful of these problems. Hopefully you'll be able to get the rest of these on your own. All right, bring your calculator tomorrow or Friday, depending on when you have this class. And have a good day. Bye-bye.